You're going about your day feeling stuck, frustrated, or overwhelmed, and you're not sure why. You think it's external factors, but it might actually be something inside you, something that's working against your peace of mind. Today we're going to talk about 8 enemies of the mind, things that might be quietly sabotaging your success and happiness. And the best part, you can fight back. We all face challenges in life, but did you know that some of the biggest obstacles are within your own mind? Your mindset, thoughts, and internal struggles can either propel you forward or hold you back. In today's video, we'll break down 8 enemies of the mind, things that disrupt your peace, cloud your judgment, and prevent you from achieving the clarity and success you deserve. More importantly, we'll talk about how to overcome them so you can unlock your true potential and live a more focused, fulfilled life. Let's face it, life is full of distractions. Social media, endless to-do lists, people demanding your attention, everything around us can easily pull us in different directions. But what if I told you that some of the most destructive forces you deal with every day are not external? What if the real battle is inside your own mind? We all deal with negative thoughts, self-doubt, and moments of confusion. These enemies of the mind, while invisible, can create chaos in our lives, affecting our relationships, work, and overall peace of mind. And here's the thing, if you don't deal with these enemies, they will continue to rob you of the focus, drive, and clarity needed to succeed. So what's the first step in overcoming these silent forces? Recognizing them. The 8 enemies we'll discuss today are things that not only affect your mental health, but also influence the quality of your decisions, actions, and ultimately your life. It's time to face these enemies head on and with the right tools, reclaim your peace and focus. 1. Negative self-talk. Negative self-talk is one of the greatest enemies of the mind. If you want to change your life, you have to start with the way you talk to yourself. It's easy to think that the way you talk to yourself doesn't really matter, but nothing could be further from the truth. The words you say to yourself every single day shape your reality. It's not about the opinions others have about you, it's about the opinions you have about yourself. Here's the thing, your mind doesn't differentiate between what's real and what's imagined. If you're constantly telling yourself things like, I'm not good enough, I'll never make it, or I'm just not capable, your mind will believe you. And once your mind believes something, it works relentlessly to make it true. You start to make decisions based on those limiting beliefs, and before you know it, you're stuck in a cycle of mediocrity, paralyzed by your own thoughts. But let's be clear, this is not just about a few passing thoughts. This is about the story you're telling yourself about who you are and what you're capable of. Every time you have a negative thought about yourself, it builds a little more momentum in the wrong direction. These thoughts compound over time like a snowball rolling downhill, picking up more and more negativity. Eventually, it becomes harder to see any other possibility but failure, self-doubt, and fear. Now, how do we break this cycle? The first step is awareness. You can't change what you don't see. Start by paying attention to the words you use when you talk to yourself. Notice how you speak about your strengths, your abilities, and your future. Do you talk about yourself in a way that reflects confidence and capability, or do you focus on your flaws and shortcomings? When you catch yourself saying something negative, stop right there. Don't just let it pass by. In that moment, challenge it. Ask yourself, is this really true? Is there evidence to support this? Most of the time, you'll find that the answer is no. Negative self-talk is based on fear, insecurity, and past failures, not the truth about who you are or what you're capable of. Once you're aware of these thoughts, start replacing them with positive affirmations. This isn't about being overly optimistic or pretending that things are perfect, but it's about reframing your thinking. When you catch yourself saying, I'm not good enough, immediately replace it with something like, I am worthy and I am capable of learning, instead of thinking, I'll never succeed, change it to, I may face setbacks, but I will keep trying and learning until I succeed. You may not feel like it at first, and that's okay. Changing your mindset doesn't happen overnight. But as you continue to make these positive shifts, your brain starts to rewire itself. The more you practice positive self-talk, the more your subconscious mind begins to accept these new truths. Over time, you'll begin to notice that you approach challenges with a sense of confidence and resilience that was missing before. To reinforce these positive affirmations, write them down, stick them on your mirror, your desk, or your phone. When you read these affirmations regularly, you're not just reminding yourself of your worth, you're reprogramming your mind to believe it. But remember, changing your self-talk is only part of the equation. You also need to take action. Positive thinking without action is just wishful thinking. The power of positive self-talk comes when it's paired with tangible steps toward your goals. The more you take action, the more your confidence grows. And the more your confidence grows, the more you'll believe in your ability to succeed. So here's the bottom line: negative self-talk is a silent killer of potential. It holds you back from reaching your goals, and it clouds your vision of the person you can become. But you have the power to change that. Start today by becoming aware of the language you use about yourself. Replace negative thoughts with empowering affirmations and back them up with consistent action. Over time, this will create a powerful shift in your mindset that will open doors to new possibilities and opportunities. 2, fear of failure. Fear of failure is another powerful enemy of the mind. It's one of those invisible forces that holds so many people back from living their full potential. It's easy to convince yourself that failure is something to avoid, something to run from. After all, no one likes to fail, right? It's embarrassing, it's painful, and it often feels like a personal judgment on your abilities. But here's the secret: failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of success. Every single successful person has faced failure countless times before reaching their goals. Failure is not the end, it's simply a stepping stone on the path to success. You see, fear of failure keeps you stuck. It tells you, don't take that risk, don't try that new thing. What if you fail? And so you stay in your comfort zone where things feel safe and predictable. The problem is, nothing grows in the comfort zone. If you never take any risks, if you never try anything new, you'll never know what you're truly capable of. The first step in overcoming the fear of failure is understanding that failure is not final. It's just part of the process. The only time failure becomes permanent is when you quit. As long as you keep going, every failure is just a lesson learned. Every mistake is an opportunity to grow and improve. The key is to change your perspective on failure. Instead of seeing it as a setback, see it as a necessary part of your journey. You can't succeed without first failing. That's the reality. But how do you stop fearing failure? First, accept it as part of the equation. Know that when you step out of your comfort zone, there's a chance you will fail. And that's okay, it's part of the price of success. The most successful people in the world didn't get to where they are by avoiding failure, they got there by embracing it. They understood that failure wasn't a reflection of their worth. It was simply a tool they used to learn and grow. The second step is to take small risks. If the fear of failure is keeping you from doing something big, start by doing something smaller. This will help you build confidence and prove to yourself that failure isn't the end of the world. Every time you fail, you learn something valuable. And the more you learn, the closer you get to success. For example, maybe you're afraid to start that business because you're scared it will fail. But the truth is, you'll never know if it will succeed until you try. Start by testing the waters. Create a simple prototype, launch a small product, or start a side project. Don't worry about being perfect, just focus on taking that first step. The fear will still be there, but as you take action, you'll realize that failure isn't as scary as it seems. In fact, it's just part of the process. The third step is to shift your internal dialogue. Instead of thinking, what if I fail, ask yourself, what will I learn from this? When you focus on the lessons you'll gain from failure, it no longer seems like something to avoid. It becomes something to embrace. Failure isn't something that defines you, it's something that refines you. Remember, failure is not the end, it's simply feedback. Every time you fail, you're one step closer to success. The key is not to let fear control you. Don't let the fear of failure stop you from taking action. Instead, let it drive you forward. Use it as motivation to keep going, to keep learning, and to keep growing. At the end of the day, the only real failure is the failure to try. So take that leap. Embrace failure as part of your journey, and know that with every failure, you're getting closer to the success you're meant to achieve. In both cases, whether it's negative self-talk or the fear of failure, your mindset is the key to overcoming these obstacles. It all comes down to how you view yourself, your potential, and the challenges you face. By changing the way you think, you change the way you act. And by changing the way you act, you change the course of your life. So be mindful of your thoughts, face your fears head on, and keep moving forward. Success doesn't come from avoiding failure, it comes from facing it, learning from it, and using it as fuel to reach your goals. 3, procrastination. Let's talk about procrastination. We've all fallen victim to it at some point in our lives. You know the drill, I'll do it tomorrow, it's not that important right now, I need a bit more time to get it perfect. Sound familiar? Procrastination is a killer of progress, a thief of time, and the very thing that keeps us stuck in the same place day after day. What happens when we procrastinate? We put off doing the things that matter most. Instead, we distract ourselves with easier, less important tasks, anything to avoid facing the challenge ahead. But here's the problem: when you procrastinate, you rob yourself of your own success. You delay the very progress that can bring you closer to your goals. And as the deadline approaches, the pressure builds, the stress increases, the anxiety kicks in. You've created a cycle of self-inflicted pressure that makes it even harder to get started, let alone finish the task. Procrastination isn't just a bad habit, it's a mental trap that prevents you from doing your best work. You may think it's harmless at first, but when you constantly put things off, you slowly destroy your productivity and your peace of mind. You're wasting time, and that's something you can never get back. Now, you might wonder why we procrastinate. What causes this behavior? Well, procrastination often comes from fear. Fear of the task being too hard. Fear of failure. Fear that you're not good enough to complete it successfully. Or maybe, just maybe, there's a lack of motivation. When we feel overwhelmed by a task, it's easy to avoid it, to push it aside and tell ourselves, I'll get to it later, but the longer you avoid it, the more difficult it becomes. You start to feel the weight of the task hanging over you. The more you put it off, the more pressure you create for yourself, and the closer the deadline gets, the more stressed and anxious you become. It becomes a vicious cycle. Delay leads to stress. Stress leads to more delay, and then you find yourself trapped, unable to make any real progress. So how do we break this cycle? How do we stop procrastinating and start moving forward? The key to overcoming procrastination is simple: break things down into smaller, more manageable pieces. When a task feels too big or too overwhelming, it's easy to put it off. But if you can break it down into smaller steps, you'll find that it's much easier to tackle. Instead of focusing on the enormity of the task, focus on the next small step in front of you. Start with something simple. Maybe it's just an outline, or maybe it's a single paragraph. Maybe it's just sending one email. The point is to get started. Once you take that first step, momentum begins to build. You're no longer looking at the entire task, you're focused on one small action. And once you complete that, you'll feel a sense of accomplishment. That little win will fuel your motivation to keep going. And with each step, the task becomes less intimidating. Before you know it, you're well on your way to completing what you set out to do. But there's another key piece to this puzzle: celebrating small wins. We often get caught up in the big picture and forget to recognize the progress we've made along the way. Every time you accomplish something, no matter how small, take a moment to celebrate. This isn't about patting yourself on the back for no reason, it's about acknowledging that you're making progress. Each small victory reinforces the habit of taking action and makes it easier to keep going. As you continue to break tasks down and celebrate your progress, something amazing happens. Procrastination starts to lose its grip on you. You begin to see that taking action is easier than putting things off. You realize that once you get started, the task isn't nearly as hard as you imagined. In fact, most of the time, it's only the anticipation of the task that feels overwhelming, not the task itself. Procrastination is a habit, a pattern of thinking that can be changed. It's not a reflection of your abilities or your worth, it's simply a mental block that can be overcome with the right strategies. By breaking tasks into smaller pieces, taking one step at a time, and celebrating each victory along the way, you can start to overcome procrastination and reclaim your time and productivity. Remember, the time you're wasting now can never be recovered. But by taking action today, you can create a future full of progress, achievement, and fulfillment. So don't let procrastination steal any more of your time. Break the cycle, take that first step, and start moving toward your goals today. Or self-doubt. Self-doubt is one of the most insidious enemies of the mind. It's that little voice that whispers in your ear, telling you that you're not good enough, that you'll never make it, that you'll never be able to achieve your dreams. It's the voice that compares you to others and convinces you that they're more capable, more talented, more successful. And before you know it, self-doubt becomes a barrier between you and your goals, keeping you stuck in a place of fear and hesitation. Self-doubt doesn't just affect your ability to take action, it chips away at your confidence, your belief in yourself, and your ability to dream big. It convinces you that you're not worthy of success, that you don't have what it takes, and that you're just not cut out for the life you want. But here's the thing, self-doubt is rarely based on reality. It's a mental pattern, a habit of thinking that can be changed. It's not a reflection of your abilities, but rather a reflection of your fears and insecurities. You might think, I'm not good enough, I can't compete with others, or I don't have the talent or skills that they have, but ask yourself this, how do you know that for sure? Have you ever really given yourself the chance to prove yourself? Have you ever truly pushed yourself to see what you're capable of? Self-doubt is the enemy that keeps you from even trying. It convinces you to give up before you've even begun. But here's the truth, every person who's ever achieved anything of value has faced self-doubt. Every single one. The difference is that successful people don't let self-doubt control them. They don't let it stop them from taking action. Instead, they push through it. They face their fears head on and keep moving forward, even when they feel uncertain. Why? Because they understand that self-doubt is just a part of the process, not a reason to quit. The first step in overcoming self-doubt is to realize that it's normal. Everyone experiences it, and it doesn't mean that you're not capable. Self-doubt is simply the result of your mind trying to protect you from discomfort or failure. But if you want to grow, you have to embrace discomfort. You have to push past the fear and take action, even when you don't feel 100% sure of yourself. To fight self-doubt, focus on your past successes. Remind yourself of the times when you've overcome challenges or achieved something you were proud of. Think about the obstacles you've faced and how you've managed to push through them. You've already proven to yourself that you're capable. Now, you just need to remind yourself of that. But it's not just about looking back, it's also about looking forward. What do you want to accomplish? What are your goals? Write them down and break them into smaller, more manageable steps. Then take action. The more you take action, the more your self-doubt will begin to fade. Every time you accomplish something, no matter how small, you'll prove to yourself that you're capable. And over time, you'll build the confidence you need to go after bigger and bigger goals. Another way to overcome self-doubt is to surround yourself with people who believe in you. When you're struggling with your own doubts, having a support system can make all the difference. Find people who encourage you, who challenge you, and who remind you of your strengths. Their belief in you will help reinforce your own belief in yourself. Remember, self-doubt is not a permanent condition, it's just a thought pattern. And like any habit, it can be changed. Focus on your strengths, take action, and surround yourself with positive influences. As you continue to push past your doubts, you'll build the confidence and resilience you need to achieve your goals. The only thing standing between you and your dreams is the belief that you can achieve them. Don't let self-doubt keep you from stepping into your full potential. You are capable, you are worthy, and you have everything you need to succeed. All you have to do is believe it. 5. External distractions. We live in an age where distractions are all around us, and they're not just a minor annoyance. They're a constant, looming presence that pulls your attention away from what truly matters. It's the ping of a text message, the constant barrage of social media notifications, the emails that flood your inbox, the calls you feel obligated to answer. All of these things, though seemingly small, add up. They rob you of your focus, and over time, they erode your mental clarity. Think about it for a second. How often do you check your phone when you should be focused on something else? How many times a day does your attention get pulled away from important tasks to scroll through social media or respond to messages that can wait? It's easy to think of these distractions as harmless, but when they multiply, they begin to steal your productivity and your peace of mind. You find yourself constantly reacting instead of acting with intention. Here's the real problem. The more we give in to distractions, the less control we have over our own lives. We're no longer masters of our attention. Instead, we're at the mercy of the next notification, the next email, the next interruption. And when you're constantly jumping from one thing to the next, never truly focusing on anything, it becomes impossible to make meaningful progress toward your goals. Your mind is divided, and that division prevents you from doing your best work. But here's the thing, external distractions are not just a modern problem. They've been around for a long time in different forms. In the past, it might have been a noisy environment or people demanding your time. But today, with the advent of smartphones, the internet, and social media, distractions are more powerful than ever. And it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that we need to be constantly available, constantly connected. But the truth is, these distractions are sabotaging your potential. How do you fight this? How do you reclaim your focus and your time? The key is setting boundaries, clear, firm boundaries. When you allow distractions to creep in, you're essentially telling your mind that it's okay to let go of your goals, your focus, and your productivity. But when you set boundaries, you take control of your time. You choose what you focus on, and you say no to the things that don't serve you. Start by turning off notifications. This simple action can make a huge difference. When you turn off your phone's notifications, you eliminate one of the biggest distractions we face today. Instead of constantly reacting to every message or alert, you can control when you check your phone and how much time you spend on it. You'll feel less overwhelmed, and you'll be able to give your full attention to the task at hand. Another important strategy is to set aside specific times each day to focus solely on your tasks. Whether it's an hour in the morning, during lunch, or in the evening, carve out a block of time where you're free from distractions. Use this time to focus deeply on one task without checking your phone or responding to messages. You'll be amazed at how much more you can accomplish when you commit to focused work. Create an environment that minimizes distractions. This might mean working in a quiet space or setting up a distraction-free zone where you can focus without interruptions. If you work from home, consider setting clear boundaries with family members or roommates. Let them know when you need to focus, and make it clear that you won't be available during that time. When you control your attention, you regain control of your life. You'll find that your mental clarity improves, your productivity skyrockets, and your sense of peace and focus deepens. You can work without feeling overwhelmed by constant interruptions. You can make real progress toward your goals, one focused moment at a time. Remember, your attention is one of the most precious resources you have. Don't let it slip away into the endless noise of distractions. Set your boundaries, guard your focus, and take control of your mind. When you do, you'll discover just how powerful you really are. 6. Overthinking. Overthinking is another dangerous enemy of the mind. It's that cycle where your thoughts spin out of control, and you find yourself stuck in an endless loop of analysis. You start to question every decision, every move, every outcome. What if this happens? What if that happens? What did I miss? And around you go, thinking, analyzing, worrying. Overthinking is exhausting. It drains your energy, keeps you up at night, and steals your ability to act. Instead of making decisions and moving forward, you get stuck in the land of what ifs. Your mind becomes a battleground of competing thoughts, and instead of clarity, all you have is confusion and uncertainty. We've all been there. Maybe you've had a moment where you couldn't stop thinking about something, a conversation you had, a choice you made, a decision you have to make. It's like your mind just won't let go. The more you think, the more overwhelmed you feel, and the less likely you are to make progress. It's a vicious cycle that keeps you stuck in your own head rather than taking action. But here's the thing, overthinking isn't just a bad habit, it's a mental trap. It keeps you from taking the necessary steps toward your goals. Instead of focusing on what you can control and moving forward, you get caught up in the details, the uncertainty, and the fear of making a mistake. But here's the truth, no one has all the answers. Life is full of uncertainty, and sometimes you have to make decisions without knowing exactly what the outcome will be. And that's okay. So how do you break free from this cycle of overthinking? The first step is to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is about being present in the moment without judgment or distraction. When you find yourself spiraling into overthinking, take a step back. Focus on your breath, on the present moment. Bring your attention to the here and now. Instead of dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, ground yourself in the present. Another important strategy is to ask yourself, what can I control right now? This simple question helps to refocus your mind on the things that are within your power to change. When you're overthinking, it's easy to get caught up in things that are outside of your control. But the key is to focus on the actions you can take right now, in this moment. What's the next step? What's the next small action that will move you closer to your goal? Overthinking often stems from fear. Fear of making the wrong choice, fear of the unknown, fear of failure. But the truth is, fear is part of the process. Every successful person has faced fear and uncertainty. The key is not to let it paralyze you. Instead, take action despite the fear. Trust that even if you make a mistake, you'll learn from it. And over time, as you make more decisions and take more action, the overthinking will start to fade. Break free from the cycle of overthinking by focusing on what you can control, practicing mindfulness, and taking one small step at a time. Don't let your mind keep you stuck in analysis paralysis. Instead, focus on moving forward, even if it's just a tiny step at a time. With each step, the clarity you seek will begin to emerge and your confidence will grow. The best way to overcome overthinking is to simply start. Trust that you don't need to have all the answers before you act. Make a decision, take a step, and let go of the need to control every outcome. The more you do this, the more natural it will become. You'll start to find peace in the process, knowing that each step you take brings you closer to the life you want to create. Remember, overthinking keeps you stuck in your head, but action gets you out of your head and into the world. Take action, focus on the present, and watch how much progress you can make. You have the power to stop overthinking and start living with clarity and purpose. 7, toxic relationships. Have you ever noticed how certain people can make you feel energized, motivated, and focused while others seem to drain the life out of you? The truth is, the people you surround yourself with have a profound impact on your mindset and overall well-being. Our relationships, for better or worse, shape the way we think, feel, and act. And some relationships are nothing short of toxic. Toxic relationships are like a weight around your neck. They suck the energy out of you, constantly leaving you feeling drained, negative, and sometimes even questioning your worth. Whether it's a friend, a family member, or a romantic partner, if someone in your life is constantly bringing you down, feeding you negativity, or undermining your efforts, that relationship becomes a roadblock to your personal growth. Why do we stay in these toxic relationships? Often it's because we don't want to be alone, or we've invested so much time and energy into the relationship that we're afraid to walk away. But here's the painful truth: the longer you allow toxic relationships to persist in your life, the more damage they do to your mental health, your productivity, and your happiness. You cannot allow yourself to be weighed down by negativity, criticism, or manipulation. And the longer you stay, the harder it becomes to break free. Toxic people often create chaos and drama, making you feel as though you're walking on eggshells around them. They thrive on conflict, drama, and negativity, and their behavior can warp your perspective on life. Instead of lifting you up, they drag you down. Instead of supporting your dreams, they tell you all the reasons you can't succeed. Instead of celebrating your victories, they highlight your failures. In short, they rob you of peace of mind. Now, I know what you're thinking, but what if they're family? What if they're someone I've known for years? It's a valid concern. We all want to be loyal to the people we care about. But let me tell you something, protecting your peace is more important than any obligation. You have the right to distance yourself from negativity, even if that negativity comes from someone close to you. The first step in dealing with toxic relationships is recognizing them. It's crucial to identify when someone is no longer serving your best interests, when their presence in your life does more harm than good. Pay attention to how you feel after spending time with them. Are you exhausted, drained, and discouraged, or do you feel uplifted, motivated, and inspired? If you consistently feel bad about yourself after being around certain people, that's a red flag. Once you've identified the toxic relationships in your life, the next step is setting boundaries. Boundaries are a form of self-care. They allow you to protect your emotional and mental well-being while maintaining healthy connections with the people who truly support you. Setting boundaries with toxic individuals might be difficult at first, but it's absolutely necessary. Let them know, in no uncertain terms, that their behavior is unacceptable and that you will not tolerate being mistreated. It's important to stand your ground, even if they push back. If the toxic person refuses to respect your boundaries, it may be time to walk away. Ending a relationship, especially with someone you've known for a long time, can be incredibly painful. But remember, your mental health is far more important than holding on to a relationship that's holding you back. Don't let the fear of being alone or the guilt of ending things keep you from choosing peace. In some cases, you may be able to salvage a relationship by communicating openly and honestly. Sometimes toxic behavior comes from a place of misunderstanding or unhealed wounds. If the other person is open to change, there's a possibility of healing the relationship. But this requires both parties to be committed to growth and mutual respect. If the other person is unwilling to change, then you must be willing to let go. Surround yourself with people who encourage your growth, support your dreams, and lift you up. These people will help you thrive, helping you become the best version of yourself. They'll be your cheerleaders, your supporters, your partners in success. They will celebrate your victories and help you pick yourself up when you fall. But to make room for these positive influences, you need to be willing to let go of the toxic ones. Don't be afraid to prune your social circle. Remember, your peace is priceless. You deserve to be surrounded by people who treat you with kindness, respect, and love. Let go of the toxic relationships that are holding you back and make room for the ones that will help you soar. A lack of gratitude. Gratitude is one of the simplest yet most powerful tools for maintaining a positive mindset. In a world that constantly pushes us to want more, do more, and be more, it's easy to lose sight of what we already have. We get so focused on what's missing, what's wrong, or what's not working that we forget to appreciate the abundance around us. This mindset, fueled by dissatisfaction and comparison, breeds negativity, discontentment, and even unhappiness. But here's the truth: when you focus on what you're missing, you allow negativity to take root. You tell yourself that you're not enough, that you need more to be happy, or that you can't be content unless you achieve certain goals or acquire certain things. But the truth is, contentment is not found in external circumstances. It's found within you. And the quickest way to unlock contentment is through the simple practice of gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance. It forces you to look around and see all that you have, rather than obsessing over what you don't. When you practice gratitude, you train your mind to notice the positives in your life, no matter how small. You begin to appreciate the little things: the warmth of the sun, the sound of laughter, the support of friends, the beauty of a quiet moment. You realize that you don't need to have it all to be happy. You already have everything you need in this moment. Now, I know what you might be thinking: but things aren't perfect. I'm struggling. I'm not where I want to be. That's completely valid. Life isn't always easy, but even in the toughest moments, there's always something to be grateful for. It might be the strength you have to get through the day, the lessons you've learned from your struggles, or the people who are there for you when you need them most. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring the challenges of life. It means finding the silver linings even in the darkest clouds. The power of gratitude lies in its ability to shift your perspective. When you take the time each day to reflect on the things you're grateful for, your mindset begins to change. You start to see the world through a different lens, one that's focused on abundance instead of scarcity. And this shift in perspective can have a profound impact on your life. So how do you make gratitude a part of your daily routine? Start a gratitude journal. Every day, write down 3 things you're thankful for. They don't have to be big or significant things. In fact, some of the most powerful moments of gratitude come from the small, everyday blessings that we often overlook. It could be the kindness of a stranger, a beautiful sunset, or a good meal with loved ones. The key is consistency. The more you practice gratitude, the more natural it becomes. As you reflect on the things you're grateful for, you'll notice a shift in your attitude. You'll begin to feel more positive, more content, and more hopeful. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to many of the mind's enemies. It frees you from the grip of negativity and helps you stay grounded in the present moment. When you're grateful, you're less likely to be bogged down by worries, doubts, or fears. Instead, you'll focus on the good that already exists in your life, and this will fuel your journey toward greater happiness and fulfillment. Remember, gratitude isn't just a practice, it's a mindset. When you choose to focus on what's good in your life, you choose to live with joy, abundance, and peace. So start today. Find something to be grateful for and watch how it transforms your perspective in your life. So how do we overcome these 8 enemies of the mind? It's not an overnight fix, it's a process. It's about becoming aware of the patterns that hold you back and taking intentional steps to break them. It's about creating a mindset that is strong, resilient, and focused on what really matters. By practicing gratitude, setting boundaries, and challenging your own thoughts, you can begin to break free from these mental enemies. And the more you do this, the more you'll experience inner peace and clarity, even amidst the chaos of the world around you. The mind is a powerful thing, but it can also be its own worst enemy. Negative self-talk, fear, procrastination, self-doubt, distractions, overthinking, toxic relationships, and a lack of gratitude all work together to cloud your judgment and steal your peace of mind. But the good news is that you have the power to fight back. By becoming aware of these enemies and practicing the strategies we discussed today, you can cultivate a resilient, clear, and focused mindset.